Welcome to the Talking Texas Rangers podcast. I'm your host, Larry Lease, and we are back from vacation, and we're getting back to the season and diving into the latest headlines from around Globe Life Field. And unfortunately, Rangers are dealing with a struggling offense, and you can't exactly blame that solely on injuries. So let's talk about it. The Texas Rangers had a good first week of the season, winning their first two series while the offense looked strong, scoring double-digit runs in just the second game of the year. The Rangers have gone 5-7 since those first two series, though, losing their last two series to the Athletics and Astros. The offense has struggled to produce aside from a few games since the first week of the season. The Rangers blew a late-game lead on Tuesday to split the first two games of 4 with the Tigers, scoring 2 runs after only mustering 1 on Monday. The offense has seemed cold lately to the eye, but what do the stats say? Through the first 18 games of last season, the Rangers scored 143 runs, almost 8 per game. It's important to acknowledge that an absurd number, and they could not be expected to replicate that sort of pace to begin this season. But expectations are high, and as one of the top lineups in the league, being tied for 8th with 89 runs through the same 18-game span, isn't nearly as satisfying as 2023. There are a few different reasons for the step back. The lineup is clearly missing Josh Young and Nathaniel Lowe, and Lowe's replacements have not replicated what he adds to this lineup in any category. Josh Smith has filled in admirably, but he lacks the slugging Young was able to provide. The lack of slugging is not unique to those filling in for injuries, though. It's across the board. A few key players struggling have made a big difference in addition to the injuries. The Rangers' offense and slugging goes through Corey Seager, and he has struggled with finding power most of all. Seager has a 743 OPS to start the season with only 1 home run and 5 RBI. He missed all of spring training and seems to be finding his rhythm slowly. Rookie Wyatt Langford is also lagging behind with a 646 OPS and is yet to hit a home run after posting a 1.137 OPS and 6 home runs during his red-hot spring training. Langford is very early in his major career and is still figuring it out. His hot start in the minors and spring training, however, contributed heavily to the lofty expectations for this lineup. The Rangers as a team are slugging just .392 so far this season, a pedestrian number with the league average just below .388. The Rangers finished with a slugging percentage 38 points higher than the league average last season, .452, to a .414 average. The reduced slugging this season isn't entirely unique to the Rangers, although it does seem more dramatic for them based on their numbers relative to the average year over year. The lack of slugging can also be seen in the reduced home run numbers. The Rangers had 21 home runs through the first 18 games of last season, and they have 15 through the first 18 games of this season. The big fly was a big weapon for the Rangers last year as they ranked 3rd in all of baseball. So far this season, they ranked just 21st. It's important to note that a full season is, of course, a much larger sample size than 18 games. Water will likely find its level, and this team will be one of the better slugging and home run total teams when the 2024 season is all said and done. But right now, they aren't because of a nasty cocktail of injuries and star players slumping, and the offense and the record are suffering for it. And now, on to our next topic. Lorenzen's Rangers debut wasn't perfect, but it was exactly what they needed. Heading into Michael Lorenzen's debut on Monday, the Rangers just needed to stop the bleeding. They were coming off a tough series against the Astros, and after the news that the starter Cody Bradford was hitting the IL, it was beginning to feel like there was some bad news coming every day. The hope was that Texas signing Lorenzen would not only bolster the rotation going forward, but could also stop the season from spiraling into a bad direction. Luckily for Texas, Lorenzen's debut with the Rangers gave them exactly what they needed right now, even if his start did come with some concerns. The good news from Lorenzen's start is that he gave the Rangers 5 scoreless innings against a pretty good Tigers team that also happens to be Lorenzen's old ball club. Despite the fact that Detroit knows what he brings to the table as well as anyone, they could only manage 3 hits off of him. There were some concerns from his start on Monday, however, his inability to close batters out, and missed bats that have been issued since 2021, as he struck out just 4 batters. More concerning was that he also walked 5, and if a few batted balls had found holes, the game could have gotten out of hand in a hurry. A good bit of the bad could simply be rust from not having a normal spring training while sitting on the free agent market. His velocity was still right in the range where he had been the last couple of seasons, and most importantly, he was able to get outs when he needed to. If he can just keep being the guy for Texas that gives quality starts while they wait for their guys on the IL to get back, and then for the rest of the 2024 season, the Rangers will be thrilled. However, if they need him to put up ace-level production to hang around in the playoff race, that may not work out as well as they hope. Let me know in the comments section below, what did you think of Lorenzen's debut as a Ranger? Were you hopeful for him moving forward, or do you still have some concerns? And now on to our next topic. So the question is, based on those injuries that are plaguing the Rangers, can the Rangers overcome the barrage of injuries to begin the season? Coming into the 2024 season, the Rangers were already off to a troubling start with injuries. Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, and Tyler Mahle began the year on the IL, and Nathaniel Lowe was the lone everyday position player alongside them. Injuries were a known commodity on the starting pitching front, but have now plagued the bullpen and lineup. As the injured list continues to grow, Bruce Bochy's list of answers shrinks, and the results are beginning to show that. As if those aforementioned injuries to the rotation weren't enough, Cody Bradford going down was another killer, because he briefly filled the void admirably with a surprise showing across his first 3 starts. His IL stint could be brief, but any lost time with key rotation members is going to be bad. Bradford has been the Rangers' best starter so far this season. Off the bat, he looked like he may be the answer to the rotation worries. He has a 1.40 ERA so far, and has become a valuable asset to a rotation that needed someone to step up. But with him now on the IL and the other starters having a bad string of outings, the rotation sits in a worse place than it began just a few weeks into the season. It's key that Lorenzen continues his work and establishes himself as a contributor in his first few starts to provide some much-needed help for this group. The bullpen, which was a focal point for improvement coming into the season after an abysmal 2023 regular season, has also faced setback due to injuries. The group really can't afford that, though. They already have a small group, and it's getting smaller with Jose Leclerc's struggles. That is trustworthy, and the bullpen received less reinforcement than most hoped for during the offseason due to the Rangers' financial constraints. The injury that really hurt the Rangers in the bullpen is the one to Josh Sborz. Sborz was crucial to the Rangers' postseason success in 2023, so when he went down after just 2.2 innings this season, it was a devastating blow. His loss has only proved to be more and more detrimental as the days go by. As it has become apparent, there aren't many bullpen arms the coaching staff can trust. This group has really struggled in a high leverage situation where Sborz tends to thrive since he went down. Losing Brock Burke wasn't a death knell, but it hurts Texas's depth. Although Burke was likely not long for the big league roster after the Astros shelled him for 4 runs in less than an inning pitched on Friday night, even losing guys who aren't the most trustworthy adversely affects the bullpen. Depth is the biggest issue here and is a necessary component of a good bullpen. Bochy and Mike Maddox will have fewer options and take on more volume until the bullpen gets healthy or a replacement establishes themselves as a trustworthy reliever. The strongest point of this team is no different than the other groups. Injuries have hampered the offensive production. Lowe's going down was a rough, but was seemingly a manageable loss when it happened. His injury was short-term, and the Rangers are well known to have great position player depth. But the platoon of Jared Walsh and Ezekiel Duran have not provided what was hoped for. Walsh started very strong with his hits in each of the first 5 games, but since then he has only had 2 hits in his last 7. 5 of which he was the starting first baseman. His right-handed counterpart in this platoon, in Duran, has also struggled after a couple of strong early performances. Duran has played substantially fewer games than Walsh, but still only has a .583 OPS and recorded just his first hit this month during Sunday's loss to the Astros. The other right-handed bat that was supposed to split reps with Duran rookie Justin Foscue went to the IL after just 2 major league at-bats. The injury to Josh Young was more worrisome when it happened due to its extended nature and how good he looked in the first few games of the season. Excuse me. But Josh Smith has filled his role at third better than the replacement first baseman. He has had solid production at the plate and seems to have taken a big step forward as a hitter. Smith can't quite replicate what the slugging Young provided, though. The reduced slugging has been noticeable throughout the lineup so far. It is a large part of why the offense has underperformed up to this point. The 2024 Rangers have already been bit by the injury bug, and hard. The offense will likely be just fine because of the depth and with Lowe returning soon, but things are a little more gloomy on the pitching front. Bochy and Maddox are grasping for answers in the bullpen, having called up 3 guys from Round Rock just in the last week for added support. Unfortunately, there's still no resolution in sight. The starting rotation should get Bradford back sooner than later, but he alone isn't enough. The Rangers also need to figure out how to get more quality starts and survive until reinforcements arrive from the IL, especially with the bullpen's renewed struggles. Here's to hoping injuries don't eat the Rangers alive before they can reach the competitive part of the season. And in our next segment, we're going to dive into 2 players that deserve more playing time and 1 that deserves less. Despite a slew of injuries to begin this season, the Texas Rangers have managed to keep pace in the AL West. The Rangers are without Josh Young, Justin Foscue, and Nathaniel Lowe, plus Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. But injuries are part of the game, and the Rangers have employed a next-man-up mentality. That's resulted in several players getting opportunities to shine, though perhaps manager Bruce Bochy should give those players even more of an opportunity. The job of a major league manager is never an easy one, but sometimes riding the hot hand is worth the gamble. Some of Texas's top performers this season could use a boost in playing time, while others who've struggled may need to take a seat or be sent back to the minor leagues. Which 2 Rangers players have earned more playing time and which one deserves less? Let's talk about that. So, right off the bat, 2 Rangers players that have earned more playing time and 1 who deserves less. We're starting with Jacob Latz, the Rangers reliever. The Rangers lack an elite left-handed pitcher to come on in relief when the opposition's lineup is loaded with left-handed bats, or do they? To date, Jacob Latz has proved to be one of Bochy's best pitchers to emerge from the bullpen on a regular basis. The assumption heading into the season was that Brock Burke would be Texas's best left-handed reliever. Burke pitched well during the spring training. While the home runs were a bit of a concern, the southpaw struck out 8 of the 33 batters he faced during Cactus League and owned a 3.12 ERA. Now Latz, whose rookie status is still intact, despite the fact he debuted in 2021 as a starter, has been lights out for the Rangers in 2024. Few fans expected the lefty to be this good out of the chute. Most of Latz's opportunities have come in low-leverage situations, but Bochy needs to see how the lefty fares when the pressure is ratcheted up. And then we have Travis Jankowski. With Young and Foscue on the IL, Travis Jankowski leads all players on the Rangers' active roster in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. But Jankowski is seen as more of a bench player and defensive replacement than he is an everyday player. It's probably wise that Bochy views Jankowski in that way. Throughout his career, that's been the outfielder's role with almost every team he's ever played for. Jankowski's speed and his ability to play defense has always been his calling card, but maybe it's time to offer up a couple more starts each week until Jankowski proves that he can handle it. The outfield is stacked with talent. Adolis Garcia, Evan Carter are fixtures, but Leody Taveras has yet to hit well this season, and Wyatt Langford has looked overwhelmed at times. If there's one player in the Rangers roster who's earned more playing time, it's Jankowski. And when it comes to which Ranger player deserves less playing time, the obvious answer is Jose Leclerc. But that's the easy answer, isn't it? Well, it's not wrong. The Rangers don't necessarily have a bevy of options set to take over the role of closer. But the man we're actually looking at today is Wyatt Langford. On the position player side of things, Langford unfortunately hasn't hit the ground running the way most fans thought he would after an explosive performance during spring training basically forced the Rangers' hand. Langford has looked uncomfortable at times and hasn't been able to find a rhythm. Langford has really struggled against fastballs this season, which seems odd. The Rangers have also deployed Langford more often than not as the team's DH. Is that really the best use of the 22-year-old skill set? An outfielder by trade, Langford has seen time on the outfield grass, but with the aforementioned Jankowski, Tavares, Garcia, and Carter all receiving reps this season, it's not easy for Langford to find playing time in the field. The former first-round pick's potential is unquestionable. Langford has the opportunity to become a star, but this is the risk teams run when promoting players to the league so quickly. Sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. It's not a failure if Langford is deemed to be in need of more seasoning in the minor leagues, but it's also not time to hit the panic button just yet. The Rangers roster, as it's currently constructed, makes Langford's role a bit more complicated. So let us know your thoughts on the topics we covered in the comments section below. And now on to our next topic. Nathaniel Lowe's rehab stint is giving Rangers hope for a fast return. One key piece of the Texas Rangers has been missing from the lineup to begin the season. Nathaniel Lowe has been out with a right oblique strain since training camp. This past weekend, he was assigned to the Frisco Rough Riders for a rehab assignment. Fans from all over the DFW Metroplex showed up at Dr. Pepper Ballpark to root for one of their favorite players in the organization. The Corpus Christi Hooks even had a big-name player rehab as well. But how Lowe did in Frisco this past weekend? Lowe did well this past weekend with the Rough Riders. He finished his rehab assignment with 4 runs, 1 hit, 1 home run, and 3 RBIs. While his stats were underwhelming, fans must realize this assignment was trying to get him some at-bats so he's up to speed when he rejoins the Rangers. He was working the count against pitchers and had some long at-bats. Lowe seems ready to rejoin the Rangers in their offense that's in a slump right now. On Friday afternoon, it was announced Justin Verlander would start Saturday's game for the Corpus Christi Hooks against the Rough Riders. Verlander gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs during his start as Frisco roughed him up early and chased him from the game after 77 pitches. You can tell it was Verlander's first game of the year pitching location issues. Lowe wasn't able to do any damage with Verlander on the mound, though. Lowe will continue to rehab over the next 2 to 3 weeks and might have a stint in AAA as well. If there are any issues at first base, that timeline could be changed. The Rangers miss his presence in the lineup, and adding a Gold Glove winner at first base will boost the team's morale as injuries continue to pile up. Hopefully his return to the lineup soon will spark a winning streak or a semblance of consistency. Let us know in the comments section below if there's any topics you want us to cover next episode. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And of course, before we go, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Game Time. Are you ready to catch the Texas Rangers live? With Game Time, you're always just a few taps away from witnessing every thrilling home run, double play, grand slam, and more. Secure the best seats at the best prices, even at the last minute. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets through Game Time and join your fellow fans for an unforgettable Texas Rangers experience. You ready to feel the excitement of Globe Life Field? Click the link in the description to book your seats now. Game Time, the official ticketing partner of real fans. And of course, if you want to support the channel financially, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TTRangers. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, and hopefully one day take this show on the road. We'd love to be able to record episodes from spring training, and of course, we'd love to, record from outside of Global Life Field. And your support can help make that happen. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.